Well, we're live in the dark with a storm, and I'm talking about we're live in South Georgia, and I was getting ready for my afternoon chores or whatever I was fixing to do, and looking out the window, and that is south from my house towards Thomasville, Georgia, which is about 20 miles away, roughly. And I noticed that, I could hear thunder, but there wasn't any clouds. Well, and I'm saying that this is unusual. Why? Well, it's unusual because in the last 5 or 6 years, we haven't had any thunderstorms to speak of. I mean, we've been in a drought. Last year, it quit raining in June and didn't really pick back up until December. A little rain in November, December. But then after the first of the year, we started getting like decent rain. But this season, and I've noticed because when I looked on the radar before I started my chores and everything, um, you can see in the yard, I believe, how much rain there was. And I was going to start the video before it started raining, and it started raining before I could start the video. But even in that little dish down there where I feed some of my kitty cats, that thing's halfway full. And it's been raining for 5 minutes. And so I don't want to get my laptop wet, but I would like to show this. This is the new section that I added next to the house for a drainage. And that's 5 minutes worth of rain. And you can hear it, it's really coming down. See the trees swaying up above the house up there? Now, I don't, you can't really, I can't zoom in out yonder much, but those pine trees are really, they're really getting some decent wind over here. Now, one of the things I wanted to touch on while I was standing out here and the computer's getting some splash on it, but the storms that I remember, and when I was a kid, I used to travel with a carnival that has been sold and no longer in existence. But we played South Georgia, North Florida, Alabama, and just think about making Georgia across and then south. We very rarely went above that line across Macon into either state. It just wasn't necessary. Now, but I remember in the evening times, you could watch the thunderstorms building, and you could say, "Oh, there's some clouds over yonder," and oh boy, you can see them build, and you could watch the cumulus clouds and everything, and you could watch the storms build, and you knew that you could kind of look around your area and spot where the storms were, and you could kind of gauge, well, if I got some outside besides chores to do, I could run out here and do this real quick, blah, 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 and get back in and beat the storm. That's not happening. These things are just appearing out of, like I would like to say, out of nowhere. See, it's still raining pretty hard. And it's running down my driveway over there pretty hard, but I created a bottleneck here, unknowingly, unwittingly, and I've been working on fixing it over the years with landscaping. But when the water starts coming down this hill up here, and from where I'm standing to the top of the hill, which you can't see, it's up through the trees and etc. but it's over the length of a football field, at least. It's a, it's further than that, but I'm just, if you want to have a general relative, what, how far away is that? It's at least a football field, with end zones and fencing. But one of the things I wanted to discuss was the fact that I've been watching the Earth, and I've in my previous videos with Earth wobble and everything, and I've noticed that there are a lot of other people starting to discuss what I've been discussing. I'm not saying that I'm good, better, or whatever. I'm glad that they are discussing it, because I've been noticing these things from standing right here on my back porch. This is what the world is doing. This is what the cosmos is doing. And I'm not using any kind of fancy instruments, although I do have a small telescope and binoculars and things. So I'm not crippled in any respect in that area, but I don't have a quality telescope like I used to. But I make my observations from the sky, and I try to post them. And like the other night, I did a video, early morning type thing, because I went outside and I looked up, and I could see the entire Big Dipper up over the top of my head, and that's not supposed to happen down here in South Georgia. And so one of the things that I'm really proud of, there's people really starting to open up and discuss this. The Earth is wobbling, duh, and when people are seeing certain constellations over their head versus to the north or to the south or whatever, they're questioning. And then when they go out on the internet and folks ain't saying nothing about it, I'm one of those people that are going, y'all, look, this is happening. Oh, now they want to discuss how the Earth is wobbling. But now the follow-up question is, well, if the Earth is wobbling, and I've proven from my point right here, I'm 15 to 20 degrees off. And we were already off a couple of years ago, but now we're 15 to 20 degrees off of that. We have rolled, and we roll back and forth every month, depending on where the moon is. Right now, we have a new moon. Tonight, if it clears up, we might see a sliver. But tomorrow night, you'll be able to see the first sliver of the moon. Depends on where you're at and how clear the sky is, and if there's no, them airplane trails. But so for whatever time I've been on here, for almost 10 minutes, this rain has lasted less than 15 minutes. And my little plate out there that I throw kitty treats in is almost full. I've also noticed too, and I can't see the road from here much, but there's been a lot of earth trembles. And my house is on the ground, in the ground. Well, sort of. It's not a bermed earth or anything like that, although that was my original plan. But I'm standing on concrete that I made with the dirt from here, and I mix it with the concrete. So I'm using, although everything that I use is from Mother Earth anyway, the concrete it's just Portland cement and lime. So I'm using natural things, but for my floor, when I stand on the floor, I'm standing on Mother Earth. Yeah, it's a concrete mixed with her dirt, but yep. So, and the other thing this year, with the storms that came in starting in about February, the amount of thunderstorms that pop up, it's almost, there is thunder when there aren't any clouds. And down here in the south, they call that heat lightning. Well, I don't ever see any lightning, but I hear the thunder. So where's the thunder coming from if there aren't any clouds? I mean, don't you require an electrical charge with the cloud and the ground and that kind of thing? I mean, so what has been suggested, and this is where I'm headed with this little observation of mine, is that the atmosphere is being compressed. In other words, It's not as high up there as it used to be. So where the cumulus clouds had atmosphere to build up into, there we don't have atmosphere for it to build into. So it's squashed. And so the amount of lightning this year, I've seen more lightning this year in the last 2 months than I. There was lightning. I can hear it crackling. It started crackling almost immediately. And I live in a holler, so depending on where the lightning strikes, it echoes through here like in the mountains. It's kind of neat in a way. Sometimes you can hear the rumble just for minutes. That one's rumbling on in towards Moultrie area. But there are no tops to these clouds. Let's see. Trying to see. Where's that pine tree at? All right. That area right there is the edge of the storm. And my point is, there should be more clouds on top for these thunderstorms to be happening. And the humidity hasn't been that bad, which is a good thing, although, you know, it can be really rough down here in South Georgia. There are the clouds. There's nothing up there. There are no other clouds. Is that going to show? Sort of. So that area right there, usually in the past, you'd see these nice, you know, marshmallow man kind of puffy clouds, and they'd go way up into the atmosphere. It's not happening. Now, I'm not dissing the rain. Don't get me wrong. But how it's raining, and I was listening to another program on YouTube today, and folks are being real sensitive to what's going on around the earth right now. Me being one of them, and one of the reasons why I have to open up and start speaking with folks and have. And I appreciate anyone who stops by here and takes a visit. I'm David Null. My medicine man shaman name in Indian is Hawkeye Two Feathers. And so I've got lots of stories, all of them true. And my observations are on a daily basis kind of thing. And I have lived down in the woods as a back to earther back in the 70s. I started, you know, when I moved up here to South Georgia from Tampa, I moved into the middle of cotton fields and tobacco fields and soybeans, blah, 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 corn. Now a lot of what's being grown around here are chickens. And it's just not the same. So much has changed down here with agriculture. But I've been on this piece of property now, going on 40 years. And 35 years. Yeah, 35 years. Pretty right at it. And so how this place developed and watching the woods and the nature. I mean, when you look up that hill up there, that used to be an empty wheat field. There was nothing up there. Nothing up the hill from me. Not a thing. And so and most of these trees that have come here were dropped by birds or the wind. Somebody's trying to bite my toe down there. My kitty cats are all hiding from the rain. But the energies that are going on right now, so there are a lot of folks that are talking about this. And so my observation is the energy changes, I also believe, are a relationship to how the atmosphere is compressed, how we don't have the height of clouds, the cloud patterns have changed. They're making up new names for some of these clouds. And I mean, like before I started this video, I checked the radar down here. There was like one little dot over here and one or two over here, and then it started thundering. And I came outside, there's not a cloud in the sky, but there's a lot of thunder. And now we get this rain. I'm not complaining, but where did the clouds come from? I mean, it's like, okay, all right, y'all, you from here, I've got a pretty decent view of the southern. Now I have to walk around the house into the garden to see the northern side. But to my point, there's no big clouds. All I saw was a little cloud, like, oh, okay, and then clap of thunder, and all of a sudden it starts doing this and it's raining. I appreciate it, but it's strange. It's strange. And other folks are observing the same thing all over the planet. So the warning from higher spirits, if you will, is that they're taking out some of the heart, because I haven't seen the same kind of signatures in the clouds that I have in the past. And it suggested that the reason we have this erratic rain, it's actually more normal. I just don't see the cloud height. It's actually more normal with in the summertime to see a little shower come by and dump some rain. That's normal. Used to be down here. That's what I was saying back in the 60s and 70s when I was coming up here for the summers. Every evening, you could expect a thunderstorm, but you saw them coming. I mean, you saw them coming. And the heat lightning was just because you didn't see the thunderhead, you could see the lightning at the tops of the storms. I don't see that anymore. I mean, because the clouds just aren't the same. Strange observation. Now, but folks are seeing strange cloud formations all over the planet. So I'm just confirming what other people are seeing from my little observation station here in South Georgia. Yeah, I know it's a mess right now, but I'm cleaning it up. I want to finish this down here with the brick. That's the reason that pile is there. But I keep getting these wonderful afternoon showers, but you can't mix concrete and then have this kind of rain run down on you. I had to redo a section of this because of that same thing. So I'm trying to, in fact, I was hoping I could do it this afternoon. I have concrete in the back of my truck I want to get out. And that's from about 2 weeks ago from a trip to town. And I'm like, I haven't been able to use it. Now, to the good side, I have rain. My garden looks good. The grass is growing well. And I have water in my well. The creek still isn't flowing yet, which is really kind of odd. But at least there's water going into the creek. It's now changed to a mud color, meaning that the rain is finally getting to the river. So a few observations from here. And just to say hi to everybody and thank you. There was a couple of new subscribers, one today and a couple in the last week or so. I thank you very much. I'm going to try to do better with things and show how I am recovering from a serious illness, several of them. I am recovering from 40 plus years of suicide, wishing to die with depression and so forth. Yeah, I have a message from the angels right there going, yeah, you do. And so I got a lot of things I'd like to discuss that might help someone out, especially with this new paradigm and everything that's going on. But my biggest message to everybody, and I continue to say it and have been saying it, we have to unite. We have to stop the hate, start debate, and then negotiate. It's real simple. And the thunder is odd. That was a weird it was almost like a giant thump. But there are earth changes. They're here. They're going on. Things are changing. Also, Happy birthday to President Donald J. Trump and his successful trip without being shot down while he was in Singapore with the leader of the North Koreans. And for what everybody might saying about poo poo this and that, the fact that they're not shooting guns at each other is a wonderful thing. As an old hippie from the 1960s, and I'm still here. I have went out and done my thing, shaved my head, and went out into society. And I'm retired now, and I can grow my hair if I wish to. And it's more of where my heart has been, because regardless of what my hair looked like, I still was the same person inside. And I care for the land. I always have. I've done a lot of camping all over the United States. Well, yes, I've been a lot to Arkansas, Missouri, and Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, a little bit of Kentucky, a little bit of Ohio, even though that's where I was born. But a lot of Georgia, a lot of North Carolina, South Carolina, especially up in the corner, Tennessee up in there, Gatlinburg, Alabama, all over Florida. And so I've seen enough of the United States. I've been out to the West Coast only once though, and spent some beautiful time and camped on the Pacific Ocean, high up on a cliff. Wonderful. North of San Francisco and south of Oregon, somewhere in there. I haven't been able to find it on a map. I'm like, what? Interesting. I don't know if maybe it's not there anymore. It was more of a state land than a state park, but I digress. But the energy's coming in and everything right now. We still have a lot more to face. There's going to be a lot more craziness, but we all just have to be prepared. And by being back to the land, I mean, I'm already prepared. I mean, am I going to miss if the electricity goes out? Yeah. But my electric bill this month was $33.62. That's how I live. I'm comfortable. I got my fans. I got a refrigerator. I got what I need. And any other time that I need something, I spent more on daggum internet for the phone than I do for other things. But I love my internet, and I need a decent connection all the way down here where I'm at down here on the bottom of this hill from the road. So I'm proud to have that, but it's expensive. In fact, I might have to cut back on some of that. It's gotten a little bit too expensive. But it is my biggest vice. And my hip just locked up. Oh, great. I got to try to get back inside without getting this thing wet. So, all right. So I'm going to shut this down for the moment. I have a discussion I want to have about suicide, because there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot with this weird energy. People who are on the edge or were on the edge just puts them more on the edge, because they don't know who to talk to or what to do. So later on, I'm going to come back and do a video on my 45-year struggle with suicide. So bye for now.